You're not gonna follow us.
Suggest you gotta get on the list.
Get on the call, man.
I forgot, okay. I was thinking.
That might be my
How would
fault.
you sit up there? Like Saturday morning?
That might be my fault.
Oh, that's fine. I'm good with it. I think actually, I'm more than happy to do it.
We're getting close. Then, if we go by that one, it's go time.
Oh, yeah, that's too.
How can that be wrong?
It's been wrong forever.
No?
It should be set to the, whatever your servers are set to, I guess. So that means the servers are on at the city.
It's pretty out of order.
Bank, we have 2 or 3 times.
Okay, we're good.
Go. Please stand, pledge allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome to the council meeting. Tuesday, June 11th, 7 o'clock p.m. Open meeting act is supposed to go on the wall. Roll call, please.
Stuart Krejci.
Here.
Shane Sweet.
Here.
Ryan Diaz.
Here.
Patrick Nagel.
Here.
Chris Rappel.
Here.
Carl Woodford.
Okay, no proclamations. Audience is one of our presenters tonight. Report.
Reporting as ordered. This thing on. All right, I'm in Joe's place tonight. It was his birthday today, and he loves this community, and by extension, all of us. But he loves his family more, apparently. So, with that, let's get started. So, just kind of a street work review. 4th and Walnut Street intersection replacement was it was on the 1 and 6 year plan. If you remember, the street was raised, so we went in there, took the asphalt off the existing street. Had them lower where that hump was on 4th Street, bring it up to grade. A couple things that'll help with flow of the water there. We were going to replace that whole intersection with concrete, but as they scraped the asphalt off, the brick underneath was in really, really good shape. So we opted, because you've got that nice stretch that just shoots down toward the museum, to keep the brick, do a little repair. So we repaired about a 4 foot by 20 foot section, it's all done right now. The only thing I say it's all done, the road repair is done. We replaced some panels over there at the courthouse where it just needed to be brought down to grade. And the only thing we're waiting on now is we're going to pour concrete to get that east-facing ADA ramp done that points toward the courthouse. So that'll be done. I think they're pouring concrete tomorrow. So, and then that project will be wrapped up. City tree dump. Obviously, if you're a member of our community, right, we love the dump. I know I love the dump, and I use it constantly. So this is not a harping moment, but it's just some kind of things to help maybe spread the word as you're out and about, or other things that we can take into consideration. So one thing that we see is, right, we're regulated by the state of Nebraska. We often get a lot of called illegal stuff dumped in there. Boards, woods, glass, trash. We have lost a couple tires, had punctures here recently. Tire replacements on a John Deere loader are not cheap. So, and it's not even just us. We don't know. There could be, other citizens who've been out there and punctured a tire, maybe got home, didn't realize where it happened. So, trying to minimize the amount of illegal dump going on out there is a big thing. One of the results of that is a couple months ago, we had a I don't want to call it an unapproved fire, right? We notify we're going to do a fire, but we had an unannounced fire. And what happens, we had a gentleman had 2 burn barrels in the back of his truck, still had embers in them. He tossed it into the wood pile caught on fire. Okay, not a big deal, except it is, right? We log that. We try to notify NDE, the county, so that folks know what's going on. It was an exceptionally windy day. The fire jumped the road. So the outcome of that was tax dollars, right? We had to respond. We had the fire department respond. We spent a couple days, patching it. The gentleman, we did report it to local police. He was talked to. I don't know if he was fined or not. Was a question came up earlier, but again, things happen, right? So we're just making these things, kind of bringing it up for awareness, and asking folks if they're out and about and you happen to notice it, don't be afraid to step up and just say, hey, you can't throw your empty pot planters here, or if you catch it, just say something to folks, right? I think is kind of what we're asking. So that is that there. That I guess at a bigger level, and this is not Jason talking, but just making sure our tax money is being spent appropriately, right? When we have to respond to these things, we could be doing other things to help the community. So it's really asking our citizens and friends and neighbors to kind of step up to the plate and help us monitor that. You might have noticed on First and Orange Street, there's several inlets that have cones around them. So we're going through, we cleaned them out. We did inspections of several of these areas. Again, these were on the docket to get repaired about 3 weeks ago, but guess what happened about 3 weeks ago? So it's kind of pushed this off. But the intent was kind of a coaching training moment too, right? We've got a lot of stormwater infrastructure that just needs to be looked at, right? It hasn't been looked at in several years. It's not a jab at anything. It's just the way it is. And it's a moment for Joe to kind of walk us through, what you're looking for, how would we do these repairs, and then we're passing that along to the team because we think these are worthwhile things, right? If we can repair these inlets and get another 25 years out of them, hey, let's go for it. So you'll see the cones around. We hope to have those projects wrapped up probably by the end of next week. This week's still a little busy because of the next topic, flood damage. So cleanup's still ongoing. Right now, we're really kind of focused on C Street. We continue to do alleys, right? We're getting kind of the one-off calls. We're trying to collect as many of those as we can and then group them so that we can get the teams out to repair alleys all in one shot so that we're not just one-off it and, not say spinning our wheels. That's not it at all. But, put them into a bucket and take care of it all at one time. You'll still see some kind of debris on the bridges. We know those need to be cleaned up, or we want to clean them up. So yeah, just know that we're out there doing those things. Trying to prioritize, the things that are safety focused first, and then we'll get to the more material aesthetic things toward the end, or as we can. We did have the county came in and did a bridge assessments for us to make sure, because the bridges took quite a bit of debris lodging. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Lodging and logging. We had propane tanks floating, so we had them come in and do inspections to make sure that everything was safe. So that is actually done now. Cemetery. So again, a lot of wet weather. Rich is extremely busy, and the team too. But Rich, right, he's the primary, he's the supervisor out there. So mowing, weed eating. We give him resources when and where we can. We did have a big pine tree break. I'm gonna say 4 weeks ago. Not a lot of damage. Had it shifted about a foot, we probably would have had a lot of headstone damage. It ended up toppling like one big headstone and missing some other significant ones. So nothing big there. We did call Monument Company. They came out and replaced the headstone that got knocked over, and then we kind of repositioned. Some of them were older, the lower line headstones. We just kind of repositioned. So at the same time, though, we had Tim, while he was out there, there were some other trees that we thought could pose potential damage, so we had him take those down, as well as some old trunks that were just out there looking pretty but not doing much of anything except getting in the way of mowing and maintenance, so we had those taken out as well. Something to kind of just call out, Rich, right, as the cemetery supervisor, he's enrolled himself in an online turf management course to just kind of, get up to date, and so we can kind of stay ahead of the game and add to our knowledge base of what we're doing to make the cemetery look good. The cemetery expansion project is still moving, and we're going to do a presentation, I believe at the September meeting. In-house, from a street and stormwater department, we're continuing to do staff training when and where we can. We try to allocate just a little bit of time on Fridays, come in, have some donuts, and do some training. So last kind of big training we did with the team was the maintenance work zone and temporary traffic control class. It's an LTAP online course. Joe and I actually pull a lot of these down, and we kind of do some curriculum bending, right, to make it a little more focused for what we're doing. So that was one of the things we did. That's on top of, we're still trying to help the guys with some kind of communication, growth, learning skills, right? Kind of the storm and streets, you're kind of the front line out there. So we're trying to get them to be a little more engaged, right, with the community. Don't be afraid. Go talk to folks. It's okay. They're not going to bite you. Things like that. This week, happening right now, actually it starts tomorrow, is the LTAP 2024 Winter Maintenance Workshop. We sent Todd Berthelsen down for that, so he'll be participating in that. And I say participating, he'll be learning too, right? It's a bigger, broader statewide, so you've got folks from multiple counties and communities coming in. It's an opportunity to share, what they see, problems they've had. Snow removal, right? Seems easy. Well, it is fairly. Sometimes. So learning. Those courses are free through LTAP for us, so we just have to pay for room and board. The cool thing about this one is they actually have a rodeo. If we would have had the resources, we would have sent 2 people down. So the rodeo consists of them operating equipment, right? And it's really cool because Todd's operated all of this. There's a grader, there's a loader, skid loader, backhoe, and then there's a snow plow truck route. He will not be able to participate in the snow plow route because you have to have a 2-person team, and we didn't have 2 people to be able to send. So he'll miss that one, but we're wishing him well, and we hope he rocks it out and shows the rest of the state how cool Wahoo is. So. That is all I've got. Any questions, comments, concerns? Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I don't have any written reports. I'll keep it short. A couple things. Just a reminder, tomorrow from 4 to 6 in Meade at the Fire Hall is the NDOT's public meeting on the Wahoo Fremont Highway 77 expansion. If you can't make that one, on the 13th from 4 to 6 at the Pohaco Lutheran Church. On June 27th, we will have a meeting here with to discuss the north drainage issues. I'm still working on the format for that meeting, and when I have that figured out, I will share it with you so you know what to expect. Next week, I will be out of the office Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday for the Nebraska City Managers Association Conference in York. And two things to report on, as maybe you heard Shane mention, we had our first task force committee meeting on our housing study. If you remember, I informed you before the county is assisting in paying for our housing study. We've provided some preliminary data to them. This was the task force. JEO, as the consultant, is going to be having some conversations with realtors, builders, and maybe a few other large employers, and gathering as much information as they can about the housing situations and what's needed, all of those different aspects of housing. Take that along with the information that was presented with the task force last night and put it into a draft report and present their findings to the task force in 2 weeks. So hopefully by the middle of July, we will have a housing study report that will be available for your review. And then the last thing I want to share a little bit about is last week I attended a land bank sort of listen and learn conference in downtown Omaha. It was sponsored by the League. The Omaha Land Bank is one of I think there's 4 or 5 in the state of Nebraska land banks, but Omaha is the first in Nebraska, and it's kind of on the cutting edge of land banks in Nebraska. But I went because I don't really know what a land bank is, and I wanted to learn about how it operates. And 2 things that I learned from that were, number one, I don't think Wahoo would have a need for a land bank individually. If we could find some sort of partnership with the surrounding communities in Saunders County, it might be beneficial. A land bank is used to help address those consistently vacant, consistently are a nuisance properties that are sitting empty, that are no longer feasible to be purchased in a regular market condition. And either there's assessments that are against it, or the cost to tear the building down, do the demolition, whether there's asbestos or there's utility issues, whatever. It's more than what someone coming in would be willing to pay for as in the regular market. So the land bank comes in, and they're able, through some modified processes, acquire the property using resources, whether that is allocation from the city or foundations or employers or whatever that pot of resources is. And they come in and they take care of the property. They demolish or address those things, and now it becomes a piece of property that could possibly be purchased for rebuilding. And again, I don't think we have those kinds of properties in Wahoo. I'm not suggesting there is a lot of them in Saunders County, but if it was to be something we would look to, it would have to be more than just Wahoo. It would be countywide. Then the second thing I learned, which is there's a Southeast Nebraska land bank that's being started in Falls City, and they're partnering with another community. And so I went up and introduced myself and talked to them, and they're like, "You're from Wahoo? You're like, we want to be Wahoo. You guys are like the target that we're aiming for. You and Seward, we're so impressed with the things that you're doing. And I'm like, oh, that was a really nice compliment to hear. So I just wanted to share that. And now I'll be quiet so we can have a short meeting.
All right. Consent agenda for the claim.
Sounds all good, Stuart.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second it.
Okay, questions, roll call.
Frache,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Raffle,
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay, no public hearings, no action that's required on, it's not having a public hearing. Mayor's comments, the only comment I would have last night at the NRD board meeting, they did not take a vote, but the executive committee recommended and asked the city to consider, continue to consider annexation, at least part of the, their area where the new office is going to be. And that'll be, I think, on the utility board meeting in the 19th to discuss, because they'll be the ones that'll be mainly behind it, with depending on the costs and the benefits. So, and then it'll probably come back to us sometime. So that's all I have. Any comments from the council?
One fast comment. I really missed I had a pickup load of grass that I couldn't get rid of, and it's fermented in the back of my pickup for a while, and you notice those barricades when it's not available. I really like the paragraph in here in the city tree dump. I wish we could put the majority of that on a city Facebook page or something and let people, I think being closed for a couple of days probably makes it more people appreciate what it is not to have that.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we have it. That's all I got to say.
I'd like to say thanks for getting the signs. If you got those, if the city
Oh,
put them
yeah.
up there, or
Yes.
state put them, it's nice to have them down there. A little extra warning, and then the message board saying that it's closed at the commercial part, which is nice. Just gives everybody the knowledge of what's actually happening over there with the roundabout.
Anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor, stand.
All right.